D.B. Cooper, the man who vanished into thin air. It was the evening of November 24, 1971. A cold, rainy Thanksgiving Eve in Portland, Oregon. Inside the airport, travelers rushed to catch flights, eager to reunite with family. But among them was one man who wasn't there for holiday cheer. He was in his mid-40s, dressed sharply in a dark suit, black tie, and sunglasses. To most, he looked like just another businessman heading home. At the ticket counter, he calmly purchased a one-way ticket to Seattle. The name he gave, Dan Cooper. Flight 305, a short 30-minute trip north, was about to become one of the most infamous flights in aviation history. Once on board, Cooper chose a seat near the rear of the plane. He ordered a bourbon and soda, lit a cigarette, and appeared relaxed. But soon after takeoff, he handed the flight attendant a folded note. She slipped it into her pocket, thinking it was just another man trying to flirt. But Cooper leaned closer and whispered words she would never forget. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Inside his briefcase, he revealed wires, red sticks, and batteries. Enough to convince anyone he was deadly serious. Cooper's demands were precise: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane in Seattle. The airline and FBI had no choice but to comply. Passenger safety came first. For hours, the plane circled Seattle as authorities scrambled to gather the ransom money and parachutes. When the plane finally landed, the exchange was made. The 36 passengers were allowed to leave, unaware of the drama unfolding behind the scenes. Only Cooper and a handful of crew members remained on board. With his demands met, Cooper gave new instructions. He wanted the plane to take off again, flying south toward Mexico City. He ordered the pilots to stay low, around 10,000 feet, and to keep the landing gear down. He even insisted the rear staircase remain unlocked. It was a highly unusual request, one that hinted at what he had planned. Somewhere over the dense forests of Washington state, with rain pounding and winds roaring, Cooper strapped the money to his body, tied on one of the parachutes, and made his move. He lowered the rear staircase of the Boeing 727 and jumped into the freezing night sky. The crew felt the plane lurch as the tail lightened. When they landed, hours later, Cooper was gone. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in U.S. history. Hundreds of agents, soldiers, and volunteers combed the forests, rivers, and mountains of the Pacific Northwest. But there was no trace of him. No body, no parachute, not even the briefcase with the supposed bomb. For years, the mystery haunted investigators. Did he die in the wilderness, or did he survive and vanish into a new life? In 1980, a boy camping along the Columbia River discovered a bundle of rotting 20 bills buried in the sand. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. But instead of solving the case, it deepened the mystery. If Cooper died, how did the money end up there? And if he survived, why was only part of the ransom ever found? Theories quickly spread. Some experts argue Cooper couldn't have survived the jump. The storm was brutal, visibility was poor, and he wore no proper gear, just a suit and loafers. Jumping at night into rugged terrain would have been a death sentence, but others are convinced he lived. Cooper's calm, confident behavior suggested training. Many believe he was either ex-military or an experienced skydiver. He had asked for 4 parachutes, a clever tactic to make authorities think he might take hostages with him. That kind of foresight pointed to a man who knew exactly what he was doing. Over the decades, the FBI investigated hundreds of suspects. Some confessed on their deathbeds, others fit certain descriptions. A few even seemed likely, but not one could ever be definitively proven to be Cooper. And then there are the conspiracy theories. Some believe Cooper buried the money himself as a decoy, knowing investigators would waste years chasing a false lead. Others say he might have escaped to South America, living quietly under a new identity. One of the wildest theories? That Cooper wasn't interested in the money at all. Some believe it was about making a point, showing the world that a single man could outsmart both the airline industry and the FBI, and vanish without a trace. In 2016, after 45 years, the FBI officially closed the case, admitting they may never know what truly happened. But for the public, D.B. Cooper remains a legend, the outlaw who jumped from the sky and disappeared, leaving behind only questions. And that's the mystery of D.B. Cooper, the man who hijacked a plane, took $200,000, and vanished into the night. Did he die in the jump? Or is he still out there, living under a new identity? What do you think happened to him? Drop your theories in the comments. I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to InfoVault, and hit the bell so you never miss more mysteries and strange stories from history. Thanks for tuning in today's story time, and I'll see you in the next mystery.